Hey, hi everybody. How you doing on a lovely Sunday afternoon? It's around 1:40 almost, and I thought this would be a perfect time for me to finish this video on pronouns, your unit 8 from your lesson, and get it over with so I can go and have my lunch after that. Okay, so today's lesson is about pronouns and the different kinds of pronouns. Okay, and pronouns are like super simple. You already know what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a word which takes the place of a noun, right? So for example, if I have a noun and I say Ramesh went to his computer class. Okay, Ramesh had a great time. Ramesh met many friends there. Okay, so you see that I keep on repeating the name Ramesh, the noun in this sentence. I keep repeating it. It sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? When you keep repeating the noun when you're making sentences one after another, you're talking about the subject. So in this case, you say Ramesh went to his computer class. He really likes it and he met many of his friends there. So you've used the pronoun he, his, okay, him, which replace the noun Ramesh. So this is the main job of a pronoun is to replace a noun and take the place of a noun and to prevent repetition in a sentence, which makes it sound very odd and weird. Okay, so today's lesson, we are going to dive into exactly what a pronoun is in real detail. And also, you're going to find out the different kinds of pronouns that are there. You know, every single figure of speech has so many different types. So, pronoun is not an exception, and we have many different types of pronouns, and each of them you learn about in detail in this lesson. Okay, so let's get straight to the lesson. I'll just present as usual. And here you are, something in a bright purple this time, kind of like purple. All right, so here we are. So here you come right to the description. A pronoun is a word used instead of a noun in a sentence. All right. So if I say he is coming here, you know that I'm talking about a masculine person just by listening, by hearing the word he. You know that I'm replacing it a with a pronoun, right? I don't know, some messages are coming here and it's kind of distracting me. Okay, so a pronoun, usually you introduce the person in the first sentence and then usually you talk about that same person or the noun using pronouns. Okay, to make it clear to everybody. So, pronoun is a word used instead of a noun. It replaces a noun in a sentence. Pronouns are used to avoid repeating the same nouns over and over again because it sounds so odd, it sounds ridiculous, and sounds weird. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next slide. For example, okay, let's look at different examples of when pronouns are used. For example, a man was sitting on the steps. Okay, he was eating popcorn. Now, in the first sentence, we've introduced the subject, the person who's doing the action, a man. What was he doing? He was sitting on the steps. Now, the second sentence, okay, we know we are talking exactly about that particular man who was sitting on the steps. He was eating popcorn because you said it immediately after you said the first sentence. And since the man is a masculine noun, we will use a masculine pronoun to replace the noun. Okay? All right. He was eating popcorn. This girl is very hungry. This girl is very hungry. She hasn't eaten all day. So this girl is a feminine noun, right? And we replace it with a feminine pronoun. All right, pronoun. This is just the introduction. Then you'll be learning about all the pronouns in detail, each and every one of them. So both he and she have taken the place of the noun. This is an example. He has replaced a man and she has replaced the words this girl, who is the subject in the sentence. Now, when do you use it? Okay, we use it when we're talking about an animal or when we're talking about a thing. Okay, my rabbit loves carrots. Which rabbit doesn't? Okay, it loves lettuce too. So now you see, my rabbit has been replaced by it. All right. So instead of saying rabbit loves carrots, my rabbit loves lettuce too. My rabbit loves what else? Beans, for example. So instead of saying my rabbit, my rabbit, my rabbit in each sentence, you're replacing it with a pronoun it. Now, supposing I tell you, my bike has a flat tire. Okay, my bike is new. So what will you replace my bike with? You'll replace it with the pronoun it. My bike has a flat tire. It is new. I don't understand how it could get a flat tire so quickly. I've barely used it. Where did I go for it to get a flat tire? Okay, these boys make a good team. Now you see that the subject in the sentence, these boys, are more than one, right? Boys is plural. Boy is one. Okay, so these boys make a good team. We will have to use a plural pronoun in this case. Okay, so we'll use the pronoun they. Supposing I said this boy uh, is a part of a team, then you'll say he is a part of a team. But these boys make a great team, you will say they make a great team. So you have to be very careful. Read the sentence, see what the subject is. If it is singular, if it is plural, and based on that, you have to replace that subject or that noun with a pronoun. It doesn't have to be only the subject that is replaced with a pronoun. The pronoun in any part of the sentence can be replaced by a pronoun. Okay, a noun can be replaced by a pronoun. So now you look at this. Supposing I say my rabbit loves carrot. Okay, supposing I say my rabbit loves it. So you're saying my rabbit, the subject, loves carrots. So instead of repeating the word carrot, you will say my rabbit loves it. Carrots are very tasty. My rabbit loves it. So it is taking the place of the noun, but in another part of the sentence, not necessarily only the subject. Okay. So now lots of examples as usual. Harry bought a new t-shirt. Okay, Harry, as you know, is a masculine noun. So let us replace Harry with a masculine pronoun. Okay, so he. All right, we'll use he. Now, for example, t-shirt is a non-living thing. We can only replace it with a pronoun it. So now I'm going to read the sentences out. Harry bought a new t-shirt. It belongs to him. It is clearly we're talking about the t-shirt, belongs to him. Very clearly we're talking about Harry. So him is a pronoun that is replacing the masculine noun Harry. He loves it so much. He is again referring to Harry. Loves it. Loves what? The t-shirt. The t-shirt is replaced by the pronoun it, which is only for animals and non-living things. He loves it so much. The girls baked a cake. Now look at this very carefully. The girls is a plural pronoun. A noun, sorry. The girls is a plural noun. The girls baked a cake. All right. Their recipe. Whose recipe? The girl's recipe. So their replaces the girls. Okay, it's a plural pronoun. All right, is a secret. They are really great bakers. Who? The girls. It's replaced by a plural pronoun they. It was delicious. What was delicious? Were the girls delicious? No. We're talking about the cake. It was delicious. Okay. It's a non living thing. We are using a pronoun the pronoun it to replace the noun cake. Okay, now kinds of pronouns. So now here we get into the heavy stuff, kinds of pronouns. So there are seven kinds of pronouns in a sentence. Okay, when we use it, there are seven kinds of pronouns. So the first pronoun you must remember is the personal pronouns, referring to people or persons. Okay, personal pronouns. Then you have reflexive pronouns, you have emphasizing pronouns, you have possessive pronouns, you have demonstrative pronouns, you have interrogative pronouns, and lastly, you have relative pronouns. Okay, so let's learn about each of them in a little more detail. So let's go to personal pronouns. Okay, now personal pronouns has quite a bit in it, but since you are using these pronouns every single day from the time you were growing up and you learned how to speak, and you've been using these pronouns all your life. Okay, so it's just right now you're just going to be learning about it in more detail. Okay, so personal pronouns take the place of specific nouns that name people, okay, that name places and things. People is like John, Harry, the teacher, the principal, the who else? My god, so much. The plumber, the electrician, okay, and people also can be things, animals, right? Animals such as the dog, the cat, the giraffe, the lion. Okay, and places can be so many, the cities, oceans, and my goodness, there are like zillions of them. Okay, so these personal pronouns take the place of persons, animal, places, and things. All right. So personal pronouns are used instead of a name. Like a name, nouns are naming words. Okay. So you use it instead of a name. Okay. And to avoid repetition and to help ease the flow of sentences, because sentences sound great with pronouns, but weird when you repeat the noun again and again. So personal pronouns can stand for objects, ideas, and places as well. Okay. Objects and ideas. All right. So they can act as the subject or the object of a sentence. All right. So you already know that a pronoun can act as a subject, and also it can be used as an object in a sentence. Okay. So let's see the different examples. Okay. But first, let us learn about the different personal pronouns. Okay, so the first one we have to learn about personal pronouns is the pronouns of the first person, the personal pronouns of the first person. Okay, now personal pronouns of the first person refer to the person or persons who are speaking, who's doing the talking. I am doing the talking. Now, supposing I have my sister with me, and all of my sister and myself, or my daughter and myself, are talking to all of you, we are doing the talking, right? I, we. Okay, and you have other pronouns which also show a single person, that is the one who's doing the talking, is me, mine, okay, myself. All these words are connected to the first person who is doing the talking, ourselves, etc. All this, us, okay, all this are referring to the persons who are doing the talking. So basically what you must remember, the personal pronouns of the first person is the person or persons who are doing the talking, I and we. Okay, and the other ones which are referring to I, myself, me, mine, etc., they are also connected to me. Okay, to the person who's doing the talking, or to the persons, we, who are doing the talking. Okay, so for example, you look at this sentence: I love apples. I am telling you about it. I am doing the talking. I love apples. They are healthy for me. Okay, then I'm talking with my daughter and I'm telling you something. We love oranges. Mother, my mom, gives us, okay, one each to take to school. They are great for our health, me and my daughter, and they are ours. We won't share them. Okay, so basically, these are the pronouns of the personal pronouns of the first person, the person or persons who are doing the talking. I, we, and the others connected to it are me, mine, myself, our, ourselves, us. Okay, these are the other pronouns which are connected to the pronouns of the first person. Okay, now let's go to the personal pronoun of the second person. Okay, so they are referring to the person or the persons who are being spoken to. Now, when I'm talking right now, or let's say me and my daughter are talking, we're talking to you. Okay, we're talking to one on one. We're talking to you or you all. So you, okay, is the or you all in the plural, you single, or you all in the plural is the personal pronoun of the second person. Even the pronoun your, okay, these refer to the people who are being spoken to. Okay, so thee and thou are used usually in very, very old English. Okay, and certain parts of the world, I think people still use thee. I spoke to thee. That means I spoke to you. And thou, thy word is your word, and thou is also, all these are usually found even in the Bible and also in really old English. Okay, so thee, thou, which we'll just learn for the sake of learning, then you, your, and yours. Okay, you and yours is connected to the personal pronoun of the second person. Okay, now look at this sentence. You are a new student. You are being spoken to. Okay, personal pronoun of the second person, which is basically a singular pronoun when I'm talking only to one person, to you. You're being spoken to, you, right? Or if I say you all, and I say it refers to a plural number of people whom I'm talking to. Okay, so you are a new student. This is your classroom. We use you, your, yours when you're talking about personal pronouns of the second person. These notebooks are yours. They belong to you. All right. Now let's go to the personal pronouns of the third person. All right. The first personal pronouns of the first person is refers to person or persons who are doing the talking or who are speaking. I, okay, I, we, me and my daughter, let's say, then myself, my, mine, what else? Ours, ourselves, all us, all these refer to the persons who are doing the talking. Okay, now personal pronouns of the second person refers to the person or persons who are being spoken to. That is you, you all, and the words also which are connected to the personal pronouns of the second person are your and yours. All right, yourself and all that. Okay, so now let's go to the personal pronouns of the third person. Okay, now personal pronouns of the third person refer to the person or the persons being spoken about. Okay, now see the difference? When we're speaking about somebody, we refer to them in different ways. I cannot refer to the person speaking about as you or I or me or us. I can only refer to them as he, she, it. These are the persons we are speaking about. Now, supposing I'm talking to you, let's say about a teacher in my school. So let's say I say today we got a new teacher. I've already speaking about somebody, about the new teacher. Now, what words will I use to talk about the new teacher? To talk about, okay? I will use words like, we've got a new teacher now, children. She is going to be taking science for you, or let's say she will be taking English for you. Okay, she has a lot of experience. She has about maybe 30 years of experience teaching in different schools. She's really great. Okay, I can't wait to meet her. Okay, yesterday she called me on the phone and spoke to me to tell me when she is joining school. Okay, all right. So see how I'm referring to another person when I'm talking about them, right? So they refer to the person or persons spoken about. Okay, so when I use the pronouns such as he, I'm talking about a male noun because it's a male pronoun, and I'm talking about one noun, so it's a male singular pronoun. Okay, now if I say she, I'm talking about a female. Okay, a female noun. Okay, but when I say they, okay, I'm talking about more than one person. Okay, when I say it, I'm talking about a non-living thing or an animal. All right, when I talk about when I use words like theirs, I'm talking about something belonging to a group of people. Okay, so as you can see, they, theirs, they do not have masculine or feminine about it. It just refers, they are plural pronouns of the third person. All right, all this he, she, it, they, theirs, themselves, their. Okay, and what else? Yeah, these refer to the personal pronouns of the third person, the person or the person spoken about. For example, let's now we're talking about Geeta. I'm having a conversation with you. You're in the second person, okay, about a third person, somebody else. And so this is how the conversation will go. Geeta plays the piano. Okay. She has been practicing for 3 years. She must be really good. Her parents bought a new piano for her. Okay. It is hers. So now you see, Geeta is the noun which has been replaced by so many different pronouns of the third person singular because I'm only talking about one person right now. And it's a feminine person, it's a female. So we'll use only feminine pronouns. Okay? Geeta, she, her, and hers. Okay, so all the pronouns signify that the noun being spoken about is a feminine noun. So we use feminine pronouns. And in this case, it's all singular, and these are pronouns of the third person, which refer to the person or persons, okay, which are being spoken about. All right, now there are a lot of examples. Okay, Pankaj came to Chennai recently. He lives in Koturpuram. We all like him a lot and spend a lot of time at his house. Again, we are talking about one noun, singular noun, which is a male noun. So we replace the male singular noun, which is of the third person, using, all right, we use pronouns, male, masculine, singular pronouns of the third person to replace the male or masculine noun. So Pankaj is the noun, the pronouns he, him, his, and yeah, he, him, and his replace the noun Pankaj, singular pronoun of the third person. Now, Rani has a pet cat. Okay, the cat is now being referred to in the rest of the sentence. Okay, it's being spoken about. It is very sweet and cuddly. Soon as you say it, everyone knows you're not talking about Rani, right? Rani has a pet cat. It is very sweet and cuddly. We all love playing with it. Its tail. It's also is a pronoun for a non-living subject which is referred to or being spoken about. So shows possession, okay? That ownership. So again, personal pronouns of the third person. Now we are going to go to plural. When a group of people are being spoken about or more than one. So this is personal pronouns of the third person, plural. Okay. So we use pronouns such as they, their, theirs, them. Okay. And other pronouns like themselves, ourselves, ours. Okay. Our, etc. So let's look at the examples. Anil and Roshan are friends. They live in the same building. These bikes are theirs. This is their building. I love playing with them. Okay, so these are personal pronouns of the third person, plural, more than one subject or more than one noun is being spoken about. Now, in this case, we're talking about Anil and Roshan, right? So, we refer to them as they. Here, even if I say Anil and Priya live in the same building, they are friends, we will refer to them as they. They, there's all these personal pronouns of the third person plural do not have anything to do with gender. Okay. So they live in the same building. These bikes are theirs. This is their building. I love playing with them. So you see the pronouns which are being used: they, theirs, their, and them. All right, even themselves, ourselves, our, sorry, not our, what am I saying? Themselves, them, okay? All these refer to the personal pronouns of the third person. All right. Initially, I had told you our and ourselves. Please disregard that. You know, sometimes I keep talking and then I remember later that I've made a mistake. So, ourselves come in the personal pronoun of the first person. Okay, plural. So please don't get mixed up. All right. So let's look at the other examples. Shalini and Reena jog every morning. Now, these are two girls. Initially, the first example, they were two boys, but the pronouns they, them, theirs, their, they do not care about whether it's masculine or feminine. They are used in both cases, whether it's a combination of masculine, feminine, or only males or only females. Okay. So Shalini and Reena jog every morning. They are healthy. I visit them every evening. I am their classmate. So again, I've used their, theirs, them, they as a pronoun to replace the plural nouns. So these are personal pronouns of the third person plural, which replace plural nouns. I hope you have understood. Okay. All right. So the next type of pronoun we are going to learn about is reflexive pronoun. Okay. Now, this is a very, very simple type of pronoun. Okay. This is a very simple type of pronoun. Okay. But you have to kind of understand the word reflexive first. Okay. First, think of the word reflection. All right. Imagine that you go and stand in front of the mirror. Who do you see when you stand in front of the mirror by yourself? I mean, you see yourself. There is nobody else in the picture, right? In the reflection. Nobody else. All right. So when you look into a mirror, your image is reflected back at you. Nobody else's image is reflected back at you. See the word reflect, reflexive. Okay. Always connect it with this. When you look into the mirror, you see yourself and no one else. All right. So in this case, grammatically, you're doing the action to yourself. I look at myself in the mirror. Okay. And you're not, nobody else is there except you. So reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object of a sentence refer to the same person or thing. So when a subject is there in a sentence, you know the one who's doing the action. But when the action is done to themselves, okay, we use certain words to refer to the actions that are being done to the subject by themselves. Okay, so these words are reflexive pronouns which reflect back on the noun. Okay, so only when I give you examples you'll be able to understand better. So reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object of a sentence refer to the same person or thing. Now the subject is the doer of the action, right? The object is in the sentence is what? What is the object in the sentence? The noun or a pronoun which has received the action of whatever's been done to it. For example, if I say I ate an apple, the apple is the object. The apple has received the action of being eaten, right? So now let's see how this in this these sort of pronouns, how what pronouns you use to show when the subject and the object are the same thing. Okay, so they behave, these reflexive pronouns behave like objects to the noun. So only when you go through many examples you will understand what I mean. Okay, so a reflexive pronoun is always used when the person or thing is doing the action to themselves. Okay, and one thing you should know about all reflexive pronouns is that they end with the word self. You have the pronoun, which is the pronoun of the first, second, or third person, and then you add self to it. Okay, so for example, myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Okay, uh, these are reflexive pronouns. You have to add self or selves to the pronoun. Now let's go to the next explanation. Okay, so this is very easy. Personal pronouns, okay, in the singular. All right, personal pronouns in the singular, you know, is he, she, it, you, I. Okay, these are personal pronouns, singular. All right. For them, these personal pronouns, which are singular pronouns, will add self to the end of it, not selves. You will add self to the end of the pronoun. Okay, it's a suffix, self. For example, myself, yourself, himself, herself, and itself, right? All singular pronouns to which you have added the suffix self. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. All right. So personal pronouns of a plural number. So these are plural personal pronouns, more than one. Okay. To this, you will add the suffix selves. All right. So, for example, ourselves. Okay. Themselves. Okay. Ourselves. Yourselves. When all of you. Okay. To this refers to all personal pronouns which are plural. Okay, you've added the suffix selves. So ourselves, themselves, yourselves. You cannot say their selves. Okay, the same way you cannot say ourself or themself, because them, our, all these are personal pronouns which are in the plural. Okay, so you have to use selves in this case. So now I'm going to show you in these sentences how the subject is doing the action to themselves. Like they also become the object in the sentence. So the children helped the children to the food, for example. Okay. The children helped themselves to the food. You don't repeat the children helped the children to the food. Help themselves means you go to a buffet, you have lots of food there, or you go to a party and the host tells you just help yourselves to the food. You don't have to wait for me to come and serve you. You can just go and help yourselves. Okay, so the children is a plural pronoun, right? Of the third person plural. Okay, so now we'll have to add selves to it. You cannot say the children helped themselves. Okay, you'll say the children helped themselves. So now I'm going to show you how it is acting as an object. Okay, the children helped whom to the food? themselves. So the subject, okay, and is the children. The object of the sentence is the children themselves. So the reflexive pronouns act as objects to the subject in the sentence. Okay. Parveen hurt herself. Parveen hurt herself. Parveen is the subject. Parveen hurt who? Herself. Now, herself, the pronoun herself is acting as the object in the sentence. So, Parveen hurt nobody else except herself. Parveen hurt herself. We. It's a plural subject. Okay, this is a plural pronoun of the first person. We hurt ourselves. We hurt whom? Ourselves. We did the action of hurting to ourselves. Okay, Parveen hurt herself. She did the action to herself, to Parveen. Okay, so we enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed ourselves when we went out. Who enjoyed it? We. Okay, so the action, okay, the action is done to yourself. The action of enjoying something is done to ourselves. We enjoyed ourselves. The action of hurting Parveen hurting, it happened to herself. Parveen hurt whom? Parveen hurt herself. The children helped whom? Helped themselves to the food. Okay, so there are loads of examples where you see that the subject is doing the action to itself. The puppy hurt whom in the garden? Itself. Okay. You clean whom? You clean yourself with well water. Okay. Normally, we all take water from the tap, which is usually the corporation water, which is slightly soft water, but well water slightly got a salty taste. So somebody seems to be surprised that and asking a question. You clean whom with well water? You clean yourself with well water. Action of cleaning is done to the same subject, you. Okay. Ravi taught himself to read and write Persian. Ravi has taught somebody or taught whom to read and write Russian. Well, he's taught himself. So the subject has done the action to himself. Okay, so these are reflexive pronouns where the subject and the object the object is uh, the verb describes the action which is done to the subject, himself, herself, themselves, uh, yourselves, for example. Okay, so again, more examples. I watched myself in the mirror. I did an action. What action did I do? Watched. I watched what? I watched whom? In this case, it will always be whom because you're talking about yourself only. So I'm talking about myself. I watched whom? I watched myself. You all must be very proud of yourselves. Now, you, the action is what? Being proud. Of whom? Yourselves. So you've done the action to yourself of being very proud. Rohit and I treated ourselves to an ice cream. This is it's a phrase, it's a local kind way of talking about buying ice cream. And because it's a happy occasion, so you want to feel hell happy and you want to do something to make yourself happy. So you say you treat yourself. Okay. For example, you save up for many years, let's say for about 4 5 years, enough money to buy a new car for yourself. So you'll say, I treated myself to a new car. Okay, or I treated myself to a new pair of jeans. Okay, for the party. I saved up money for 1 year and I was able to buy two really good pairs of jeans for myself. So I treated myself. So Rohit and I did something. Okay, we treated ourselves. We did the action to ourselves. Okay, to an ice cream. So in this case, Rohit and I, third person plural. Okay, personal pronoun of the third person. Okay, the word that replaces Rohit and I, which is a plural subject, is what? The word ourselves. Okay, Rohit, because I is there in the sentence. So me along with Rohit. Rohit and I becomes we. We treated ourselves. Supposing I say Rohit and Ramya, then I'll say Rohit and Ramya treated themselves. Okay. Supposing I say Rohit, then I'll say Rohit treated himself. Supposing I say Shreya, Shreya treated herself. Shreya and Ramya treated themselves. Rohit and I treated ourselves. Okay. So we are doing the action to ourselves. Okay. To an ice cream. Now they bought themselves a new car. They is a personal pronoun of the third person plural. Okay. So we have to add selves, right? They bought themselves a new car. They bought whom a new car? Themselves. So in all these cases, the object in the sentence is the action that has been done to the subject themselves. Okay. Like in the case of I, it'll be myself. Okay. If it is we, it'll be ourselves. If it is he, she, or it'll be himself, herself, or itself. If it is you, it'll be yourself or yourselves if it is you all. If I'm talking about the personal pronoun of the third person, plural, it'll be they, themselves. Okay. All right. So I hope you understood exactly what a reflexive pronoun is when the object in the sentence is the subject themselves. They have done something to themselves. Like I've done something to myself, you've done something to yourself. It is an action done to the subject, okay, in the sentence. Okay, so now we go to emphasizing pronouns. Emphasizing pronouns. All right. Now, emphasizing pronouns is you have the same pronouns like myself, himself, herself, itself, yourself, then ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Okay, these pronouns are also used, but you mustn't confuse it with reflexive pronoun. Now, reflexive pronoun, you must remember, is an action which is done to the subject. Okay, they do the action. Okay, like I wash myself in the morning. I wash whom? Myself. Okay. So myself is the object in the sentence. Okay. It shows an action which is being done to me by myself. Okay. All right. So now, all right, these same pronouns are used in emphasizing pronouns, but they're used in an entirely different way. Now, children, so many of you may get confused in this. Like even I got confused initially when you hear about it for the first time. It's kind of confusing, but when you really understand what an emphasizing pronoun is, it's really simple. Okay, so an emphasizing pronoun is used with a noun or a pronoun to emphasize who is doing the action in a particular sentence. Okay, so here it is not like you are using the reflexive pronoun in the sentence as the object in the sentence as well as the subject. Okay, the subject is not doing something to themselves. All right, now let's see the example. But they are showing you in the sentence who, there is no doubt as to who has done the action, as to who has done the action. Okay, here we are not talking to themselves. Okay, to themselves, the action when it's done to themselves, it's a reflexive pronoun, but an emphasizing pronoun tells you exactly who has done the action. Okay, I did this drawing by myself, or I can say I did the drawing myself. Okay, so I did what? A drawing. All right, it's not, I have not done something to myself, right? I have done, I did what? A drawing. But who exactly did it? Myself. I did it myself. Okay. So all these sentences in emphasizing pronouns, you're using a reflexive pronoun, but you're using it for an entirely different purpose. You're using it to make sure that in the sentence, uh, it tells you exactly who has done the action. Okay, it doesn't show whether you do the action to yourself. Okay, it just shows who has done the action for sure, without a doubt. Okay, you yourself asked for this. Now, also, when a pronoun is placed just next to, exactly next to a personal pronoun, and a sentence is made, that also, in this case, the reflexive pronoun is used as an emphasizing pronoun. For example, um, why did you get me this ice cream? Well, you asked for it. I don't want this. I never asked for this. You yourself asked for this. So you're emphasizing to the person, like, hey, I'm just following your orders. I'm the waitress here. You yourself asked for this. Nobody else asked for it. Okay. Now, we ourselves are responsible for this mess. Okay. We got three dogs into my mom's beautiful kitchen, and the dogs really made a mess. Okay. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? I don't know. What are we going to do? But I know one thing, we have to clean up this mess because we ourselves are responsible for this mess. We, next to it, immediately you put the word, the reflexive pronoun ourselves next to the pronoun we. We ourselves are responsible. So it is without a doubt who is responsible for this mess. We ourselves are responsible for this mess. Now let's look at this. They built a new house by themselves, or they built a new house themselves. Okay. So now they built what? Okay. They built what? They built a house. So an action was not done to themselves. Okay. An action was done by themselves. Okay. So when you see this word, they built a house themselves, or they built a house by themselves, you know who exactly has done the action. They are not the object in the sentence in this case. They built what? They built a new house. Okay, they built it by themselves, or they built it themselves, to show you exactly who has done the job of building a new house. She cleaned the kitchen by herself. Okay, she cleaned the kitchen by herself. So she cleaned what? The kitchen. The kitchen is the object. Okay, she has not done anything to herself. She has cleaned the kitchen herself, or she has cleaned the kitchen by herself. All right. So I'm sure by seeing these examples, you have really got an idea of exactly the difference between a reflexive pronoun and an emphasizing pronoun. A reflexive pronoun, when the subject does an action to themselves. I washed what? I washed myself. I cleaned, sorry, she cleaned whom? Herself. Okay? She cleaned herself before having her dinner. Okay? Or cleaned herself after she came from the beach. All right? They treated themselves to an ice cream. They treated whom? Themselves. But in the case of an emphasizing pronoun from the sentence, you can find out that an action was done. Okay? An action was done by somebody, and you use the pronoun to show exactly who has done the action. I did what? This drawing. Who did the drawing? I did it myself. Okay. So in this case, it is to emphasizing pronouns is to show or emphasize on who has done the action. And in reflexive pronoun, it shows that an action has been done to the subject. They have done it to themselves. Okay. So these are the two main differences between reflexive and emphasizing pronoun. Okay, so now we come to possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. Now I'm going to stop right here because I am going to make this part one of unit 8, because I don't want to go talk about it for too long, because let's face it, it's starting to listen to something which is you're learning, and to hear it over and over again for a long period of time. So this video, I don't want to make it too long, so I'll just cut it short right now. I'm going to stop sharing and I'll make another video, which is part 2 of Unit 8, where I complete the rest of the pronouns, okay, to make it simple and not so boring for you kids. All right, so now I think it's time for me to have my lunch. I'm going to go and have my lunch. Okay, bye everybody. I am going to stop sharing now and get back to the meat. Okay, so watch the videos. It's going to help you very much in the future when you're planning to study for your exam. Just watch the videos, go through the exercises in your grammar workbook, and you'll ace the quiz assignment, like I always say. You're going to get better and better in grammar this way, okay? Bye for now. I'll make the next video in the evening and I'll put it up on YouTube. Don't forget to study for your Unit 7 quiz assignment on Monday. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye.